All right. Our 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 Buffalo Bills playing Saturday night versus the New England Patriots for round 3. And boy oh boy, before we even get into like actually how this game's going to play out, thoughts on that or whatever. I was kind of hard pressed before to say that this, like, talking to some people, Patriots fans, Bills fans around, um, whether or not this was a rivalry yet. And what I have to say is that now, where before this game, I probably would have said, I don't know. The Patriots have been dominating the Bills for so long. It doesn't really seem like it could be. Um, Now I feel like we're actually heading in the direction that it will become a real rivalry. Both teams actually care about heavily. I have no doubt that the Patriots will continue to improve from where they're at, and I also feel that the Bills are going to be competitive for years to come because Josh Allen on most days plays well enough or a level of football that makes him very hard to beat, which means that both of these teams will be looking at 10 plus win seasons and 17 game seasons. And that'll always keep these matchups interesting. Accompany that with the fact that Sean McDermott seemed really mad after he lost to the Patriots the first time, and then Bill Belichick seemed really mad that he lost to the Bills the second game. Now we're getting an extra game that comes in terms of sending one of these teams home officially to end one of these teams' seasons. I have no doubt that this could actually become a real rivalry that not only Bills and Patriots fans are excited for in the future, but just on a consistent basis, the whole league is like, ooh, Bills Patriots this weekend. That's a matchup almost like Steelers Ravens or something else like that that other people may consider really interesting. That's a matchup I usually look at from the outside, not being a fan of either of those teams. Like, yeah, I still want to catch that one, even if it means nothing.
Yeah, it's really weird that the AFC East might have a competitive rivalry, because I mean, the Dolphins do get their due against the Patriots, but it's not like that's a rivalry. It's just like everyone expects when the Patriots go to Miami now that they're gonna lose, which is like, I don't know if you could call that a rivalry or not, but the Jets just get mollywopped by every team. Uh, and the Patriots were just crushing everyone, and no one was really keeping it competitive. But now it's starting to feel that way. Uh, that it's getting competitive with the two.
Can I can I give you a little pop quiz really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Who are the two two quarterbacks within their first two seasons to reach conference championship games in NFL history?
Mark Sanchez, Brady,
Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. And
And it's
also
funny that
it's
Sanchez is
also
the one that comes to my mind
yeah.
first.
Yeah, it's just funny. I saw that on I will say I'm having trouble like believing that entirely. Like I feel like I need to do more fact checking there to make sure there wasn't one other guy that was missed. But that was on Fox Sports 1, so I'm assuming they got that stat correct. If they didn't though, that's their fault, not mine. Okay? Just want to put that out there. That was on Fox Sports 1. Okay. Back to the game at hand. Let's talk a little bit more about the New England Patriots heading to play the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, so this is going to be another cold one, like it was the last time they played in Orchard Park, but the winds aren't going to be gusting up to 20 miles an hour with there being precipitation. It's going to be a clear, cold day, or night, and it's going to be negative degree weather, or at least 0 degree weather. It's going to be cold. Uh, Mac Jones is going to be wearing his scuba suit that Brian Hoyer told him that Brady wore, and I don't know if Josh Allen will be taking Bart Scott's advice and popping a couple Viagra before this one, but they're every team's gonna have their strategy to stay warm. Uh, but it's going to be hard to compare this game to the last game, the Monday night game that was played in Orchard Park, just because the elements are different, but the temperature is going to be similar. Uh, Mac Jones can throw in this one if the Patriots want him to. It's not going to be like the last one where it's just like, oh, the wind's blowing too hard. We are not even going to try. Uh, so the you and I said that 10, 10 might be the
Yeah.
magic number for the Patriots for Mac Jones passes in this, because I still wouldn't want him throwing a lot. With the way the weather's going to be, ground and pound, air it out 10-ish times. Uh, but for the Bills, just keep doing what you've been doing all season. Like, just throw it all over the place. Have Diggs get open. No weather to really disrupt passes. Have Josh. I still have
Say it.
dreams of
Say it.
that deep pass that Diggs didn't get in that Monday night game, where it's like like I get that the wind probably made it wobble and that's why he didn't really get it, but that won't happen. The Bills have to stop the run. That's going to be the key to this one. Bills have to stop the run, something they have not done well all season. They've gotten better towards the tail end. Like their best performance against the run was that second Patriots game, and even then, it was not good. Like I'm sure, like statistically, they had better games against worse teams, but against a good team that could run the ball, their best game was the second game against the Patriots, and Damian Harris still had like 2 rushing touchdowns. You gotta stop it. You gotta have Tremaine Edmonds step up and have like the game of his life in this one. Uh, and then the Patriots, they have a great secondary. They have one of the best secondaries in the league. You got to shut down Josh Allen. That's the keys to the game for both teams. And Josh Allen or the Bills need to, like, I hate saying this because it's like something that, like, I feel like Bills fans shouldn't say, but Josh Allen should not be doing everything. It's the playoffs now. It's the playoffs now. He can do a lot more. That's what it is. And I hate like during the regular season, I do get the narrative of like Josh Allen's gonna get himself killed if he keeps doing all this. But it's the playoffs now. He's gonna have all offseason recover if he gets himself killed. Uh, yeah, I'd say dial up more designed runs. Then you know what, your little smile there got me changed now. Dial up more designed runs for Josh. Uh, yeah, and Singletary's been getting going too late down the stretch, so that might be the much needed boost that they get in the run game.
Yes. That's a key part. I'm hoping that that's not only because of the fact that they've just been playing really crappy defenses, and that means that it has
Mm-hmm.
allowed them to easily have the offensive line to easily control their blocks and have Singletary just be able to make worse players miss. I don't think it is. I think they've actually been doing something to get the running game going. But as I said, I do think it's a numbers game, and I think a numbers game is a lot simpler than people make it sometimes. If you run the ball, if your quarterback is athletic, you run the ball with your quarterback, you have another hat to put on another hat on the defensive side of the ball. That could be the one guy that makes the difference between having a 2-yard run and a 20-yard run. That's why I love the quarterback in the run game. Obviously, people fear injury, but we go home if we lose, so who cares about injury at this point? The only other concern I have in this weather, because, like we said, not concerned with throwing the ball. I really don't think I am either. Like, I think I've seen enough of Josh Allen to say that I'm not concerned with throwing the ball, especially knowing that the wind isn't going to be too crazy for, Buffalo wind, at least from what I've heard. Then now we'll see if that's the truth at kickoff, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're thinking now. The only other concern there with running Josh is potential numbness in your hands, and then it becomes a little easier to fumble. The colder it is outside, the easier it is to fumble. That's just the truth. It's definitely not as bad as it being like ridiculously wet, but coldness can affect your ability to hold on to the football. And Josh in the past has not been the most secure ball carrier, but I will say he always gets better the further into the season we get. He gets more into like, oh, okay, I have to tighten up my carrying. So hopefully, as long as he keeps that in control, I think we should be okay. Now, the number for me that's key for two things is 15. If Mac Jones throws, we talked about 10 being the special number for passes that would be like reasonable for him to attempt. If he throws more than 15 passes, the Patriots will lose the game, and I can almost guarantee you that. I don't think that I'm going to need to go beyond that. I wholeheartedly believe that. On the other hand, the other place I think that 15 is an important mark is points. I think if the Bills score 15 points, they win the game. And I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say because it goes along with the last thing I said. I do not think that the Patriots are about to come in here and try to play a game where they outscore us. If they do, they're insane because I have no idea where over the past 2 seasons they would have gotten the idea that trying to outscore the Bills, meaning four games, that would be the way they decide to try to beat us. I would be shocked. I mean, it would be kind of a Belichick thing to go completely against the grain, but that just seems so far-fetched, it doesn't even seem possible. It doesn't seem like they could even consider it with just the difference in roster talent. So, with those two things being said, I think the Bills are at the point now where they know that mark that I just pointed out that they have to get to. I don't think they'll screw up as much as they did in the first game to miss their opportunities, and I don't think the Patriots will be able to keep up and slow the Bills down enough to keep them under that 15-point mark. I know you haven't picked the game yet, but I need a lock this week, and honestly, funnily enough, I'll lock the Bills just to terrify you a little bit. And if we lose, oh well, because
It's not a well because I'm gonna be standing out there in the negative degrees, man. It's not oh well. It's not oh well for me.
well, I'm in Florida, so what can I say? That's
Yeah, I hate you, bro. I hate you.
well, fine. Tell me I'm wrong and lock up New England. Do it.
I can't do that. No, I can't do that because it come like you said in our previous breakdown for the Raiders at Bengals playoff game, which you could check out. It's gonna come down to QB play. And what quarterback do I like more in this one? Well, obviously, I'm a biased Bills fan, so I'm going to say I like Josh Allen more, and I think that's what's going to come down to because those 10 passes or 10-ish passes that the Patriots are going to have Mac Jones throw, that's going to dictate the game more than the 30-ish times they run the ball. So, I'm going to go with the Bills to win this one.
Wow. Strong feelings? What would you... Well, I locked them, so you know I'm feeling strong about it at this point. What would you give them, percentage chance-wise?
50-50, man, any given Sunday, any given Saturday, you know?
I can understand that.
I
I do understand it with what we've seen this season. I feel like the formula for the Bills to win is so much easier than what the formula needs to be for the Patriots to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Belichick is coaching them, so I know he'll tell them exactly what they need to do, but they still need to execute it perfectly, and I don't know if they can be that flawless a second time this season. Because they nearly were flawless the first time they executed the game plan, and they needed Bills' mistakes on top of that. If the Bills want to shoot themselves in their foot, they can lose this game easily, but that goes for any team in this league. If you want to shoot yourselves in the foot, you can. But I just don't expect it. I don't expect it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Still scary when you're rooting for a team.
I'm feeling it, but it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how my confidence wanes tonight, and or if we make it into next week, how it wanes next week. Because I'm sure it will not be as confident this week as this week. Even if we do win tonight, I'm sure it will not be as confident. So, with that being said, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Nah, I think we can cut this here.